Welcome back to another episode of How I Cook. I'm Stephen and Frederick. This episode we're going to do a play on Philly cheesesteak. Philly cheesesteaks are made with ribeye steak, fried onions, and provolone cheese, or sometimes cheese whiz. We're going to do provolone cheese this time. So I'm going to start with the ribeye steak, and I'm going to cut it up. I already cut one up into these chunks. The nice thing about ribeye steak is there's lots of marbling, but I'm going to cut away the big pieces of fat and just stick with the meat with some of the marbling. I've also pre-fried some onions. The house smells wonderful because of these. And then we're going to have some provolone cheese. A Philly cheesesteak is then put on a nice hoagie roll, but we're going to do it with puff pastry sheets. So now that we know our ingredients, I'm going to clean this up and we'll start putting it together. So there we have it. The ribeye's all been cut up. I've a mixture of salt, pepper, and rosemary. Salt, pepper, and rosemary goes very nicely with ribeye. I told you I fried up some onions because a good cheesesteak has fried onion. Gonna put that in with the ribeye. And we'll mix all that up. Next we have the puff pastry sheets. There are two here. For purposes of this episode, I'm just going to use one, I think. Take that. And I have these rings where you can cut out things. I'm going to use the largest ring. But if you don't have these rings, that's okay. You could just use a knife or the bottom of a bowl or something. So I'm going to cut out one. Don't throw this out, we'll definitely use this. And then I'm going to take some of the beef onion mixture, and put it right here in the center. And what would a cheesesteak be without cheese? So here's the provolone. Just going to put a half a slice on each. And next we need to seal them up. I have a little water here. I'm just going to put it around the puff pastry. To help seal it. And pull this up. So there we have 4 partially formed cheesesteak cups. So I said we were going to use this. We'll take the scraps, put them in water, and lay them over the top. While they don't look pretty now, when they puff up, they'll be wonderful. These are just 4 for demonstration purposes. We're putting it on a sheet pan with parchment paper. This is just a little extra puff pastry, the chef's delight. And this is going to go into a preheated 450-degree oven for 10 minutes. So it's been around 10 minutes. Don't they look beautiful? I told you it didn't matter what they looked like going in. I should let them sit for a minute before cutting into it, but I'm really anticipating. Look at how beautiful that is. So there we have it. my take on Philadelphia cheesesteak elevated. I hope you enjoyed this episode of How I Cook. Remember, it's not the right way. It's not the way you should do it. It's how I cook. Thank you so much. Take care.